Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something straight. Men don't fall in love just because a woman looks good. Beauty might catch a man's eye, but it doesn't capture his heart. What makes a man truly fall in love is something much deeper, something that touches his soul before it touches anything else. Men don't fall in love with looks alone. Connection comes first. A man can admire your beauty, he can be blown away by your smile, and he can talk about how fine you are, but that doesn't mean he's in love. Looks might get his attention, but they don't hold his attention. That's where a lot of people get it wrong. You think because a man stares, compliments, or even pursues, that his heart is involved. No, his eyes are involved. His attraction is involved. But love only shows up when there is a real connection. A connection is something you can't fake and you can't rush it. It's when a man feels something in his soul that makes him want to stay. That's why you'll see men who dated beautiful women in the past but didn't commit, then meet someone else who may not fit the world's perfect image, yet he gives her everything. It's not because he lost his mind, it's because she gave him what beauty alone couldn't, a connection that fed his spirit. When a man connects with you, he doesn't just enjoy your presence, he craves it. He looks forward to your voice, your energy, the way you make him feel about himself. See, men are often told to be strong, to handle everything, to keep emotions locked up. But when he meets someone who can pull down those walls without force, when he can be himself without pretending, that's when love starts forming. A man falls in love when he feels like you see him, not the image he shows the world. If he can sit in silence with you and still feel complete, if he can talk about his struggles and not feel judged, then you've given him the kind of connection that beauty, money, or status can't touch. Now, a lot of women make the mistake of thinking connection is just about always being available or saying yes to everything he wants. That's not it. Connection is about understanding. It's about knowing his moods, noticing his habits, and paying attention to the little things that others overlook. When you bring up something he mentioned weeks ago that he forgot he told you, that's connection. When you encourage him in the area where he doubts himself the most, that's connection. When you know how to make him laugh after a bad day, that's connection. It's not about performing. It's about being in tune with who he really is. Think about it. Men can be around a crowd of people every day and yet still feel alone. But if he's with you and suddenly feels seen, suddenly feels lighter, suddenly feels like he doesn't have to wear the mask anymore, that's what makes him come back. That's what makes him think about you at night, replaying conversations in his head. That's what makes him feel like there's something rare in front of him. Men are not as complicated as people make them out to be. They don't need someone perfect, they need someone real. A man can admire beauty from a distance, but he only gives his heart when there is that emotional and spiritual alignment. That alignment is when he feels that what he has been missing finally makes sense in your presence. And let me tell you, when a man feels that, you won't have to guess if he loves you. His actions will change. He'll start prioritizing you, protecting you, providing for you, because the connection makes him feel safe enough to invest his whole self. So remember, the first step to making a man fall in love isn't about how you look, how you dress, or how perfect you present yourself. The first step is creating a connection that makes him feel like no one else can give him what you do. Looks might turn his head, but connections captures his heart. A man must feel respected and valued before real love grows. You can give him affection, you can give him attention, you can even give him passion. But if he doesn't feel respected deep down, that love won't take root. Respect is not about bowing down or always agreeing. It's about letting a man know that who he is, what he does, and how he leads matters to you. Respect is the language men understand, and without it, he may enjoy your company, but he won't hand over his heart. Respect to a man feels like acknowledgement. It feels like appreciation. Men fight battles out in the world every single day, and often nobody claps for them. Nobody says thank you. Nobody notices the effort. But when a woman notices, when she says, I see how hard you try and I'm proud of you, that moment becomes priceless. That kind of recognition touches something deep inside him that no amount of beauty or attraction could ever reach. It makes him want to give more, do more, and be more for you because he knows you don't overlook his effort. You can't underestimate how powerful respect is. When you talk down to a man, when you dismiss his ideas, when you make him feel like his role doesn't matter, you break something in him. He might not say it out loud, but he feels it. And when he feels disrespected, he pulls back. He may still hang around, but his heart is guarded. On the other hand, when you make him feel like his opinion counts, when you treat him as someone worthy of admiration, that man begins to see you differently. Suddenly, you become the place where he feels like a king, not because of ego, but because you created a space where his manhood is honored. Respect and value go hand in hand. Value is when you don't just appreciate what he does, but you recognize who he is. A man doesn't want to feel like a paycheck or like his only worth is in what he provides. He wants to feel like his presence has meaning. When you value a man, you remind him that his uniqueness matters. You let him know that his qualities, the way he thinks, the way he solves problems, the way he protects, the way he dreams are things you admire. And when a man feels valued, he ties that feeling to you. He begins to think, she gets me, she sees me, she makes me feel like I matter. That's when his heart begins to lean toward love. Think about how men operate. The world measures them by performance, by their jobs, by their money, by their titles. But when he's with you, he doesn't want to feel like a project or a paycheck. He wants to feel like a man. And when you make him feel that, he feels safe giving his best to you. That's why men often say, I'd rather have peace at home than praise in the streets. Because home is supposed to be the place where respect and value live. When a man feels disrespected, he'll resist. He'll argue, withdraw, or eventually leave. But when he feels respected, he naturally wants to rise. Respect pulls greatness out of him. Value makes him protective. Together, they set the stage for love. Because love for a man is not just an emotion, it's an investment. And no man invests his heart where he doesn't feel safe, appreciated, and honored. So if you're wondering why some men never seem to fall deeply, it's often because they never felt that combination of respect and value. Without it, they'll enjoy the moment, but they won't commit. With it, though, they'll give you loyalty, effort, and love in a way that no one else has ever seen. Consistency in how you treat a man makes him trust the relationship. Love doesn't grow in confusion, and men don't open their hearts in uncertainty. A man can deal with a lot of things, but inconsistency will have him second-guessing everything about you. If you're warm one day and cold the next, if you're uplifting one moment and dismissive the next, he won't know where he stands. And when a man doesn't know where he stands, he protects himself by keeping his emotions locked away. Men thrive on stability. They may not always admit it, but they need to know what they're coming home to, what kind of energy they'll be met with, and whether the words you say today will match the actions you show tomorrow. When a man feels like you're unpredictable, he might enjoy the ride for a while, but he won't build his heart on shaky ground. Real love needs a foundation, and that foundation is built brick by brick through consistency. Consistency is not about perfection. It's about reliability. It's showing him that who you are today is who you'll be tomorrow, not someone switching up depending on your mood or what's trending on social media. It's when your actions align with your words. If you say you've got his back, then your behavior proves it when times get rough. If you say you care about him, then you don't just show it when it's convenient. You show it when it costs you patience, effort, and attention. That's what makes him trust. Men pay attention to patterns. He notices if you only show love when you want something. He notices if you treat him differently in private than you do in public. He notices if your support comes with strings attached. But when he sees consistency, when your love doesn't switch based on circumstances, he relaxes. He lowers his guard. He starts to believe that what you feel for him is real. And once a man believes that, he starts investing in the relationship with his full self. Inconsistency, on the other hand, is one of the fastest ways to lose a man's heart. If he feels like he can't count on you, if he feels like today you're building him up, but tomorrow you're tearing him down, he won't feel safe. He'll pull back emotionally, and once he does, it's hard to bring him back. That's because men connect love with trust. If trust is broken, love can't grow. But when trust is built, love flows naturally. You don't have to be perfect to be consistent. Sometimes it's the small, steady things that matter the most. Checking in on him, remembering little details, being there when you said you'd be, keeping promises. These are the actions that mean more to a man than grand gestures, because a grand gesture might impress him for a day, but consistency impresses him for a lifetime. Think of it like this. A man is like a house under construction. Every act of consistency you show him lays down another brick. Every time you follow through on what you say, you're pouring more cement. Every time you treat him with the same respect on his good days and his bad days, you're raising the walls higher. And eventually, through your steady actions, he realizes he's building something solid with you. That's when he starts thinking about the future, not just the moment. Men don't fall in love because you gave them a thrill for a night or a spark for a week. They fall in love when they know you're someone they can count on no matter the season. That kind of consistency makes a man say, this woman, she's real. She's not going to switch up on me. I can build with her. And when he reaches that point, that's when trust and love become inseparable. A man has to feel safe enough to be vulnerable. Now, this right here is something a lot of people don't understand about men. Men walk around wearing armor every single day. From the time they wake up, they're expected to be strong, to provide, to protect, to lead, to act like nothing bothers them. The world doesn't give men much room to be soft, to be weak, to admit fear, or to even shed tears. So when a man finally meets a woman who creates a space where he can lay down that armor, that's when something powerful happens. That's when his heart starts to open. Vulnerability for a man is risky. Society has trained him to think that showing emotions makes him weak, and weak men get stepped on. So he hides it, buries it, and carries his pain alone. But love doesn't grow where walls are standing tall. Love grows when those walls come down, and that only happens if he feels safe. Safe doesn't just mean he can talk. It means he can talk without fear of being judged, mocked, or later having his feelings thrown back in his face. If a man shares something personal and you dismiss it, laugh at it, or use it against him in an argument, you've just taught him to never go there again. He'll shut that door, lock it, and throw away the key. But if he opens up about his struggles, his dreams, or even his insecurities, and you respond with empathy and care, you unlock something in him that almost no one else has. You become the place where he feels free, and freedom in love is priceless to a man. This is why some men can be with someone for years and never truly fall in love, then meet someone else who lets them feel safe, and suddenly they're giving their whole heart. It wasn't the time, it was the safety. Because vulnerability is not about weakness, it's about trust. And trust is the bridge to love. When a man feels safe, he lets you into the parts of himself that no one else gets to see. He tells you about the fears he's never spoken, the childhood wounds he carries, the pressure he feels but never admits. He shows you the boy inside the man, the part of him that still needs reassurance, comfort, and belief. That's when you know you're not just in his life, you're in his soul. But creating safety doesn't mean you excuse everything he does or never hold him accountable. Safety means he knows that even when you correct him, you're doing it from a place of love, not attack. It means he knows that even if he fails, you won't tear him down. It means he knows that you can see his flaws, but still choose him. That balance of truth and grace builds a love that's unshakable. Men want to be seen as strong, but the man who truly falls in love is the one who can admit weakness and still feel accepted. Think about that. Out in the world, he's putting on his strongest face, but with you, he wants to take off the mask. If he can cry in your arms, if he can laugh without holding back, if he can confess fears without feeling small, that's when he realizes you're not just another woman in his life, you're the one. It's not easy for men to get to that point. Many were taught to never show emotion. But if you can be patient, if you can prove through your actions that his heart is safe in your hands, you'll see a side of him no one else has ever touched. And once he gives you that side, his loyalty, his effort, his love will follow, because a man doesn't hand over his vulnerability lightly. He only does it when he feels completely secure. And when he does, that's when love becomes real. Women fall for women who bring peace, not chaos. A man can find excitement anywhere, but peace, that's rare. The world already throws battles at him every single day. He's fighting pressure at work, responsibilities at home, expectations from society, and his own inner struggles. What he's looking for in love is not another battlefield. He doesn't need someone to add storms to his life. He needs someone who can calm the storms that already exist. Peace to a man is not silence. It's not pretending problems don't exist. Peace is about balance. It's about coming home after a hard day and feeling like he can finally breathe. It's knowing that the energy you bring doesn't drain him, but restores him. If being around you makes him feel more stressed, more uncertain, more restless, he won't connect love to that. But if being around you feels like a safe place, like fresh air after a long climb, he'll want that over and over again. Now let's be clear, peace is not about never speaking your mind. Men respect honesty, but it's the way you bring it that makes the difference. If every conversation feels like an attack, he'll shut down. If every mistake he makes becomes an opportunity to throw everything in his face, he'll start pulling away. But when you know how to communicate with grace, when you correct without tearing down, when you can address problems without destroying his spirit, that's peace. That's the kind of woman who makes a man say, she's the one I need in my corner. Peace also comes through presence. Sometimes it's not what you say, it's the way you are. A peaceful woman has an energy that makes him feel grounded, makes him feel understood, makes him feel like he doesn't have to fight for acceptance. When he can sit next to you in silence and still feel complete, that's powerful. That's the kind of peace that keeps a man coming back. So understand this. A man may chase thrills, but he'll build a life with peace. He may enjoy chaos for a moment, but he'll never call chaos home. When you bring him calm in a world full of storms, you give him something he can't replace. And that's when love takes root. Love happens when he feels you choose him, not just need him. There's a big difference between being wanted and being needed. A man doesn't want to feel like he's just filling a space, like you're with him because you couldn't find better or because you were tired of being alone. That doesn't build love, that builds obligation. And obligation doesn't hold a man's heart. What does? The feeling that out of everybody in the world, you looked at him and said, I choose you. Choice is powerful. When a man feels chosen, he feels special. It's not about him being perfect. It's about you seeing something in him that made you stop searching. He wants to know that you're not with him because of desperation or convenience, but because of genuine desire. That's what flips a switch inside a man. That's what makes him want to step up because he knows he wasn't the fallback option. He was the chosen one. And let me tell you, men can sense the difference. If you're with him but still comparing him to others, he feels that. If you're staying because you're scared of being alone, he feels that too. But when your actions show him he's the man you want, not just the man you ended up with, that's when his heart starts to rest with you. That's when he starts planning a future with you because love tied to choice feels secure. Being chosen also makes a man give more. When he feels like he's your priority, not your backup, he invests differently. He's more protective, more consistent, more intentional. Why? Because deep down, every man wants to know he's not replaceable in the eyes of the woman he loves. He wants to know that no matter how many options you had, you decided he was worth it. So understand this. Love doesn't fully grow in a man's heart until he feels like he's been chosen. Not needed for survival, not tolerated out of fear, but chosen because you truly wanted him. When a man feels that, that's when he loves you with everything he's got.